how to choose retirement. They've simply been taught how to endure to a certain age. This week's Series 1 was never about quitting. It was never about taking action. It was about awareness, realizing that there is a pattern to this that we're just going along with instead of asking why. How did this happen? Why am I here? This series is not about taking action today. It's simply about awareness to figure out why you believe that you can't retire, that you have to work to a certain age, and that you're working yourself into absolute exhaustion because you think it's what you're supposed to be doing. But why? Why is that? If something you heard this week in the 7-day videos that have been viewing and launched every day this week, if you've heard something that made you think, I'm not the only one that thinks that. Perhaps there's other things out there that I need to look at. Maybe I can retire early. How do I know? Where do I look? You are in the right place. This is where I, Jenny, take you by the hand and say, hey, let's look at this together. Because I too realized that I believed I had to wait until a certain age to retire. But then I realized, why? If I have enough money or I don't need as much as the experts are telling me I need, what can I do next? So together we're going to unpack this, and over the next 7 months, every month, we're going to have a different line of questions and topics and actions for us to do. And together we can move forward and retire like we mean it. I'm flipping my script now. Retirement, honestly, it didn't exist until the turn of last century, and the Germans were the first one who implemented something. But here in the United States, it was 1935 with the Social Security Act. And that the whole purpose for that was to prevent poverty in the elderly. It was never meant to be a replacement to your retirement income or anyone's retirement income. It was simply to stave the wolf from the door. Keep the wolf from the door. That's what it was. However, in the 1940s, when World War II came along and the first Social Security checks were issued, companies and unions got into the retirement game. And all of a sudden, the three of them collectively, independently or in conversations, 65 was their target age. Now, in 1930, 58 was the life expectancy for the average American male. So if retirement age isn't to 65, you're basically still working till you die anyway. Over the decades, the life expectancy for men have increased, and women, we've always outlived them by 6 to 8 years, always. But in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, there were not a heck of a lot of women in the workforce. Matter of fact, in 1970, there was only about 43% of women, all women, in the workforce. And this is women of prime working age. This is age 25 through 54, 43%. Well, for many of us who are Gen Xers, we realize and we understand that in the 70s, the, my pets or my adopted pets are coming in. But we realized growing up in the 70s that something was happening. A lot of women were standing up and yelling and going to work and burning the bra and equal rights, equal pay, etc. And that was fantastic, but that was a turning point. Not only did more women enter the workforce, and since 1970, we have increased from 43% to about 72% today, but it was the first time women en masse began earning Social Security benefits or paying into the system. Thus, the system was becoming more and more of a retirement assumption that that was how you were going to pay for your retirement. Never intended to be a full retirement income, only to keep you from starving to death. There's a huge line there we all need to fully understand. So as women entered the workforce, we were not being educated on how to prepare for our own retirement. Because, little lady, just sit there. Your man will take care of it. Don't worry about it. You just go and you earn some of that money. Oh, you're divorced? Well, Social Security will take care of you. Or maybe your company has a pension. Ooh, excuse me. Maybe your company has a pension and that can take you. Are you part of the union? The union will take care of you. This soon was to completely evaporate and dissolve because in 1978, the 401k was born. And in the 1980s, that became the main vehicle for retirement savings. Pensions began to fade. Additional retirement benefits from whether it was unions or Social Security no longer were keeping up with the cost of living and inflation. So 401k shifted the responsibility from those programs onto you. So as a woman, whether you're in a marriage, a partnership, etc., you are now responsible for considering and preparing for your own retirement. Well, there's skills that are involved in that. There's levels of understanding that we all need to be able to have. And there wasn't a lot of education for women when it comes to retirement planning until the 1990s when that gap was beginning to be addressed. It's still sorely underserved. A lot of women, life gets busy. We don't stop and keep up with the latest information. We've never really stopped in our 20s and our 30s because we've got 40 years before we have to worry about retirement. Because 65 is the retirement age. I'm only 25. Look at that. I don't have to worry about it yet. Yet is upon us. If you are a woman over 40, listen up. Over 50, you've already had some sweats over this. You're starting to really consider how much do I have? Where does it go? If you have been in a relationship, in a marriage, in a partnership, and you have allowed them to do the retirement planning, whether they're still with you or not, you need to understand what that looks like. So, today, I want all of you to commit to going to your partner, your spouse, your friend, whomever you're planning retirement with or to spend retirement with, and find out what your retirement picture looks like. You no longer can sit back and not care. You cannot unring a bell. You have to know because, God forbid, something happens to them and you're ignorant of where things are, what you have, etc., you're not going to be in any condition mentally, psychologically to care for a while about that. So let's get educated now. Let's make certain that things are in place. And if they're not, some of us started late. I didn't start to my mid to late 40s preparing for retirement. I am now in my late 50s. So 10 years I've been preparing aggressively, intentionally, and with focus. Hindsight, I could have done a lot better. I could have been a little bit more frugal. I could have piled up a bit more money. Life happens. We all make choices along the way. I've had to replace air conditioning units in my vehicles in the middle of August in Houston, and that's a non-negotiable. So that money didn't go into retirement, but we've all been there. Furnace goes out, air conditioning goes out at the house, an emergency, a medical emergency, whatever, college tuition, life, the unexpected happens. Nothing you've learned this week requires action, just for you to be completely aware and to understand. Now, I will give you some personal challenges, some personal actions, because we've got to start moving along those roads. Next month, the series is going to be looking at things very intentionally. This is where we're going to unpack where the money is, how much is there. You've got to realize, even in a marriage, you need to be able to rely on yourself to action things if they are not available or impaired to do so. And God forbid you lose them. You need to know where things are, who to call, what money to shift around, etc. We can no longer survive without without knowing these things, peace of mind and ability to sleep at night is going to go a long way. So most of us, as I've mentioned, we didn't choose the retirement timeline. We've just been going along to get along. Tradition, normal, becomes the truth. So 65 is, honestly, it's a made up number. None of us are committed to it. So if you want to work longer, that's not a problem. You can retire any way that you want, any way that you mean it. I personally can't imagine never quitting working at something. Now, do I want to stop going into an office for somebody else every day? Oh, yeah, I do. I do. However, I do plan to continue to do something, whether it's a side hustle, consulting, etc. I enjoy being productive. I thrive on a routine. But as I've moved toward thinking retirement sooner than later, I'm also beginning to realize retirement is not just about the dollars. It's a lot about the cents. And in this series, we're going to talk about that as well, because you have to prepare yourself psychologically for that transition in order for it to be as pleasant and golden as you anticipate. Women's roles in retirement have changed over the decades. As I mentioned, we're contributing since the 1970s in mass to the Social Security coffers. However, Social Security is not going to be 100% your retirement income. Will it keep the wolf from the door as far as starvation? Possibly if you moved in with somebody, but how much is there? So part of what we need to unpack and you need to start thinking about is how much have you paid into Social Security and what will your benefits be at whichever age you choose to start withdrawing. If you're in a marriage or a legal partnership, etc., you also need to know what the process is to draw upon your spouse's benefits if they were to pass before you or if you divorce. A divorce situation, you can also draw upon your spousal's benefits, your divorced, your ex's benefits, depending on how long you were married. And then obviously, did you make more money than them or did they make more money than you? I think the rule is you have to claim against whoever made the majority of the money. But women, it's pleasant that it's now in the rearview mirror. But back in the 70s and 80s, men were still out earning women quite substantially. A lot of situations today, they still do. But we women, we are powerhouses of income production. And a lot of times we are the main breadwinner in our families. And I say power to y'all. I think it's wonderful. I know a lot of couples who have stay-at-home dads because the wife has a better earning potential than the husband does. And it just makes sense for somebody to stay home with the kids. So kudos to the men who are stepping in and stepping up for that role. If you have heard anything in this series that has made you stop, keep coming back. I've got 6 more months of this. In February, there is an additional series that we will go over. It is all about unveiling what retirement funds you have, where they sit, are they reliable? Case in point, are you married for the second, third time? Do they have previous spouses or children that could possibly be contenders to the retirement funds that they are bringing into the marriage? This could be a sticky situation as well. I'm going to refer to my notes real quick. I do want to say that I had scheduled a live. This is my first one ever, and I was unable to recall that scheduled one. So for all of my folks who are out there right now, maybe tuned into the schedule live and I just didn't show up, so sorry. I will make sure that I go back and leave a tracer there to come to this video, and I very much apologize. If you're watching this live and you thought you were going to be in the other one, please leave your comments below. I will respond to each and every one of them, make sure everybody gets answered. Very much appreciate you going to that one, and promise next month my live will go a lot smoother. All right, so back to my notes. So some of the things I'm curious about you guys. or y'all, as we say in the South. What topics, what information surprised you the most? Do you see yourself in a lot of the information that I've provided? Did you think 65 was the required retirement age? And now you're thinking, oh my goodness, I did have it wrong. Oh, is that how that came to be? And let's not forget the Social Security, the company pensions, and the union retirement are all based on the male working model. Women, these men have taken off precious little time to have babies, to care for children, to care for aging parents. Occasionally, they might take off a day or so to go hand out cigars in the waiting room while the wife is in the labor and delivery giving birth. But they missed very little of their careers for all these responsibilities that fall on our shoulders. So you know that they have earned more, considered more reliable, and paid in. And their retirement funds are probably a little bit larger historically. Now, as I've pointed out, men are sharing the responsibilities more today than ever. So, women, you have got to work harder and smarter and intentionally and get educated on where you need to start putting money for retirement. It's not all just piling up a pile of cash and saying, oh, there's my retirement fund. No, if you've got time, and we've all got some time, you need it somewhere where it's going to grow and it's going to work for you. So if you're earlier than 50, definitely start contributing to that 401k most companies offer. If they offer a Roth 401k, that in the long term, as things stand today, is a much better option. I am not a financial advisor. I am not telling you where to put your money, but I am telling you that there's options out there. And you should sit down with a financial advisor, a trusted friend, a knowledgeable elder, maybe not even elder, it could be your own son who's in school studying this, somebody you trust and you know has your best interest at heart, and have these conversations with them. The truth only hurts once. After that, we pull up our bootstraps and we start working toward a better tomorrow because we all want to retire like we mean it, whatever that may look like. Series 2, we're not just questioning the timeline, but we're going to, as I said, and I think the actual title to it is here. We are going to start, now that we've questioned the timeline, we need to talk about the reality, especially when it's just you. Are you divorced? Have you ever forever been solo? Are you the only one on the planet who is going to put any effort into your retirement? If so, this next series you definitely need to tune in for. Bring all of your questions. Matter of fact, if you want to preemptively send me some questions, do that. In the description, down there, I have some free worksheets for you. How to do a basic budget if you're unfamiliar with that. I also have a life experience to income side hustle worksheet. So for those of us who choose not to retire, or if you're getting started late, whether that's 5 years ago or 15 minutes ago, at the beginning of this video, if you're getting started now thinking about retirement and you're over a certain age, then you need to know how much money you possibly have currently, what your monthly cash income needs are, and what the difference is, because you may need to continue producing income. And why not do it on something you already know? So the worksheet Life Experience to Income will help you figure out what your skills currently are, what the market for those could possibly be, what hours you might actually want to dedicate to such an endeavor, and move forward. Now, if you're just looking to build up your money, that worksheet's for you as well. I also have a wait list for some mini courses for both of those. So definitely go down there, look at those links, go and grab your free worksheets if nothing else, and visit my website. There you have a wait list for the mini courses, and I will get back to you as soon as those are launched. They should be coming out first quarter of this year. And this is 2026 for those of you watching this in the future. Now, all 7 of the videos for this week on looking at the retirement timeline and the misnomers that we have been taught, let's just call it the lies that we have been taught. I'm going to package all those together. Go and binge those, play them while you're doing laundry, driving to work, commuting, however you do it while you're working out. Just listen to the dulcet tones and all the great information I have to share with y'all on this. Retirement is not one size fits all. You get to decide how you want to retire. So let's walk through this together. Y'all come back. I post my regular videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I do this series once a month now through July. I look forward to talking to y'all again soon. Again, sorry the scheduled live did not go off as planned, but this one will post very promptly, and I'll be sure to let anybody that was in that previous live know. Ricky move. All right, I'll see y'all soon.